G'day, this is Jamie from Blood, Sweat and Metal, giving you another interview as we always do every single week, many times a week, I should say, because we have got them all on our YouTube channel. I will say this and I will rectify this. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, which is just down below, right down here, where you can get notified as soon as the interview goes up on YouTube. You get notified and can go straight towards it, and to see all these other interviews that we had, almost 2 years of great work, great interviews, and just great dedication to give you guys the bands, guests, what have you, for Blood, Sweat and Metals from us to you. Well, before I go into tonight's guest, I've got to say this, that yes, last night before I had the interview with the guest, I had a chipped tooth that absolutely snapped off, and I'm not going to show you guys where it is, but I'm pretty disappointing, a little bit embarrassed. It's a tooth that's been chipped for quite a while. Been waiting for it to get fixed up by the dental hospital here in Adelaide. Last night I was having some meal, and during that meal the tooth has completely snapped off and left a little bit here. So right now I look and feel like a true Collingwood supporter. I am definitely living up to my name as the Collingwood supporter that I am. I am going into the dental surgery in 3 weeks' time to put a cap there, get it fixed up. But yeah, it's a little bit embarrassing, so I'm not going to smile too much in the next 3 weeks because it will reveal itself in a full smile. But if you see a little bit of a droop side, I'm not going to show you where it is. That is because the tooth is that's remaining is scraping the top lip. So that's the story I had. This literally happened just before the interview with Tempest Rising from Perth. That's right, Tempest Rising. Many bands in Perth that are making their names for themselves. I spoke to James, the guitarist over there, via his phone, as we talk about them being announced as the opening band for the Perth date for Sevendust. They brought out an EP, a couple of albums as well, but what James was talking about is that this Sevendust gig that's happening in the next few months, hopefully they'll give him another spur of fans, another creation of fans. Fans will come on board. Newer fans will start to discover and start to like their material, because the material that they just released is pretty new for them, and it might broaden their horizons. They've been over to Japan. They've toured with Socroptic and King Parrot, which we mentioned in this interview as well. But most importantly, the promoters here in Australia, not Adelaide, but Australia as a whole, are taking good punts on the local talent around Australia to showcase their talent in front of a wider audience. Because, as we know, many club gigs and weekend gigs, sometimes they don't pull in the crowd that they expect. So getting put on a major bill with an international guest, it's great to see that bands are starting to rise up, and it's good to see that the promoters are starting to look after the Australian talent. Tempest Rising is no different. Please go and check them out on Facebook, and you can pre-order some of the stuff that they have. The band will keep in regular contact and keep you up to date with what's going on with the band itself. But if you have got tickets to the Sevendust gig at the Capitol in Perth, please, you go be absolutely floored. If you haven't seen them, you're going to discover just how good the music of Australia really is all about. Well, once again, the tooth will fix up in itself in 3 weeks' time. Give me all the jokes about me being a true Collingwood fan now that I've got a tooth that is completely snapped. But most importantly, I just got to wear it for the next 3 weeks. Hopefully, it will fix itself up with the cap or whatever they do with it. But most importantly, I'm a little bit shattered, but there's nothing else I can really say right now about it. But I thought I'd give you guys a little bit of a scoop of that as well. I don't want to give out the major guest that I'll be talking to on Thursday. It's a major surprise, and you just guys got to stick around for that. And please, if you like what we do, share the name around, because the support is just great from you guys. And get your friends who is a metalhead or rock head, whatever, to get inspired by what we do. And yes, there'll be another full-length episode getting recorded this Sunday as well. Some awesome news material has been released as well, plus some personal favourites that I have. So stick around for that. But most importantly, get inspired by some of the bands that you have not heard before or haven't discovered before. That's part of my job, is to get you guys to just listen to it. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. There's no skin off my nose. I'm just doing my job, and my job is to play as much music in that metal rock scene as much as possible. And if I play punk, I play punk as well. So that's what I do. So stick around, enjoy this interview, and go to their Facebook page at Tempest Rising and show them some support and give them some love as well. All right, here it is, the interview I had with James last night from Tempest Rising. Check it out. Hey guys, this is Jamie here from Blood, Sweat and Metal. Unfortunately, because I'm a Collingwood supporter, I am living up to the name of that. I chipped my tooth. One of my teeth at the front is chipped, and I've got to go to the dental hospital tomorrow. But don't worry, give me all the hate mail you want. But I've got an awesome guest here. This came through the mail during the week, and I'm speaking to Tempest Rising, who are going around the grapevine doing a lot of gigs. They've done King Parrot gig, which we've spoken to Matt Young a couple of times on our show already, but they're coming out with a full force gig with Sevendust back at the Capitol in Perth, and it's good evening to James from the band. Good evening, James.
Good evening, Jay.
How you going, man?
I'm very good.
I'm James, as a Christian name, but to be a bit more easy on us, you're James, I'm Jamie. So that's pretty cool. I used to live in Perth for 8 years, between these years of 92 to 2000, and there was a lot of great bands over there that started up with the wave of metal that was going through. I mean, I know there was some awesome bands over there in that neck of the woods, but you guys, you've been travelling around Australia many times over. You've done, like I mentioned, with King Parrot, and we'll go on that story a little bit later on. But before we get into that, you guys must be thrilled that you are now one of the bands that's going to be opening up for Sevendust on that upcoming Australian tour. You guys must be thrilled.
We're ecstatic, really. We hopefully the hard work has paid off, and we can put on a good show for the Sevendust fans. Really, this will open up a wide range of a new audience for us. For a lot of people that don't tend to go to many local gigs at all, and mainly just keep for the big international acts. So this will hopefully to bring us to a new range of fans. And we've been working really, really hard, and playing a lot of gigs and getting out there, getting the name out there, and it's it's finally paid off with the Sevendust. Is probably the perfect band to kind of for our first, I suppose, international support slot.
Are you also thrilled that not just the bands who coming out to Australia, but the promoter taking a good punt on local talent? I mean, just recently we had Nightwish come through Australia a couple of weeks ago, and Tabra and Voyager, well, Tabra done most of it, but Voyager came on the bill for Adelaide and Perth. Are you guys more surprised now that a lot of local talent are getting a little of exposure, not just the same bands getting picked for the massive gigs like Sevendust?
Yeah, it's like, to be honest, I had heard the name Tabera before, but I hadn't really heard much of them, and I'm pretty sure I've got one of the members on Facebook, and he actually posted up a bit of a breakdown of how how the shows went, and really cost wise and stuff like that. And it looked like they did pretty well for themselves. And I was pretty surprised because I hadn't really heard of them before. Voyager is pretty much a no-brainer. They're probably one of the biggest acts going around up for a national band in Australia at the moment. They're just seem to be doing tour after tour after tour with a lot of bands that are coming over to Australia for the first time as well in that I guess that kind of progressive genre. But it's awesome that a lot of promoters are just jumping and letting locals I guess support bands that are doing it as a full-time job, and it just allows a lot of the guys to kind of carry out, I guess, childhood dreams and all that of playing on the same stage as some of their idols.
Yeah, and it's just amazing how there's a wide spectrum of bands here in Australia that have got the talent. Like you mentioned at the top of the interview, you do your hard work, you put the hard yards in, it pays off. Talent won't do that alone.
That's right.
Talent is great. I mean, unfortunately, I haven't got the main numbers I want for my show, but I'm building up on my talent. Yeah, okay, well I don't really have much talent. Yes, I do. I just talk too much. But no, I get it. I mean, if you look at bands like King Parrot, which you guys have played with as well, they've been doing an extremely well job by going overseas a couple of times a year, maybe more a year now because they're getting the exposure. But they were like you guys as well. They started small, playing clubs and pubs around Australia until someone came along and said, let's expand it a bit. And they go overseas. And you guys must be taking a little bit of a wing off them as well, because there's got to be some type of core group of bands here that everyone can just focus on and just rub shoulders with, and not much of a competition, even though the competition is out there, but you can feed off one another, get some advice from some of the bands and the support from some of the bands, and King Parrot is one of them.
Yeah, King Parrot is definitely they're probably a prime example of hard working paying off. Really, they they put in the hard yards from the get go, and there's copious amounts of bands in Australia that have the talent, but really, in this day and age, the market is very saturated. Unless one of the lucky ones that somehow someone hears you and they're like, I like the sound of that, and it kind of goes from there. You really hard work. You just got to tour, and like they did a whole bunch, national Australia, and then final support slot. I think down over doing a Europe tour and all that, and then that kind of just snowballed from there, and they just kept going, and the momentum picks up, and then you look at now, then they're supporting Soulfly as the main support, and it's just and you're getting a Soundwave mention when that was obviously still going. They did Hammer a lot of other headlining festivals around Australia now, so that's the prime example when you just got to everyone's taking a leaf out of their book. Really, they just they've found the right method to their madness, and they're just going along with it.
It does. And also, what I want to point out is, do you think that the outside world looking into Australia they're actually starting to pay a little bit more respect to Australia. Even though AC/DC is one of the biggest Australian bands of all time, but you think the world is starting to start to respect a little bit more with the metal scene. I mean, the metal scene here in Australia compared to other countries is quite small when you compare it to like American and Europe type of world.
Definitely. Australia's just like a melting pot full of talent and great bands, and definitely the rest of the world is definitely keeping an eye on it, and as long as these Australian bands put themselves out there and they put in the hard work to get noticed around the world, then we'll continue to have the spotlight on us, and that's what you want, and you want that kind of spotlight because that brings more and more international bands, even if they're not as well known as what we usually see here. At least it shows them that there is a thriving scene of bands, and an important thing is that as long as the punters are coming in as well and supporting the bands, it makes Australia worth the tour.
It does. I mean, you guys. I mean, you haven't been a young band or a new band, but you're quite new in the scene itself, right? But what I want to ask is, you've done an EP, you've done a full-length album. Now you're going into the realms of opening up for Sevendust, and you mentioned that you're going to bring in newer fans over to the band as well. With the spectrum of the music that you guys play, how do you think that genre of music going forward into the future to come?
Oh, we've had a few people ask us, what genre we are and whatnot, and we can't really pin it to anything specific. A lot of the stuff, EP and the first album, went to more of a metalcore-ish spectrum, so to speak. Not it was more. The album was written from almost at the start of the band. A few of the songs on the EP are on the album as well, just obviously redone to a better class quality, and so a lot of that music on there is quite old, and that just showed how young we are. And if you compare it to, I guess, our latest single, "Know My Name," and then if you've been lucky enough to come to a few of our shows, we've played a few new materials with our new lineups and whatnot. The sound is definitely matured, and you can tell that. And I think with the Sevendust support, the newer material will hopefully grab more people than what if we would just happen to just stick to playing what we had released on the album, and that hopefully will gain us those new fans. And we're continually getting the second album ready. We're hoping to have it ready probably by the end of the year, maybe for a 2017 release. It all just depends on I guess what comes our way throughout the year.
Yeah, it does. I mean, the reason why I asked that, 2 days ago, Metallica played the night before the Super Bowl because the Super Bowl thought they were too heavy to play for the halftime show. And we're having a bit of discussion. A close guide that I know, a friend of mine here in Adelaide, we're talking about the genre of metal, whether they sell out or whatnot. I mean, when you look at bands like Exodus, who've been around for many years, have not done a ballad in their career, they stuck to the crude term of thrash. But when you see like Metallica do a slow song like Nothing Else Matters or something like that, they are classified as a sellout. Do you think, as the whole thing, a lot of people, especially the younger fans, and I think this comes down to the generation gap where the old school fans like myself and you are, when we go back to the classic 80s and 70s, compared to the younger one, there's a lot of in between in battles, I should say. Some of these fans think they know more about this band than this average Joe blow. Doesn't matter how long you've been a fan for, but they look down on it. But is it come as a surprise that more people start to put bands in different genres like metalcore, deathcore, and thrash, and glam, and so forth?
Oh, I guess bands like Metallica, they grew up, they matured, and they were no longer they were no longer everyone's little, back pocket band, and I guess they saw an opportunity, and you can thank Bob Rock for the Black album, really, because Bob Rock was a producer for Bon Jovi and all that kind of band, so he was known for a big sounding record, and we're talking about like $1 million record deals and all that, and I guess Metallica took that opportunity and seized it. People pin subgenres on bands, and I think at the end, like for me personally, metal's metal, really, regardless if it's glam metal or thrash metal or grind or something like that. I reckon, for this generation, a lot of kids are, I like my deathcore or my metalcore or my grindcore or anything like that. It kind of, I guess you can blame the internet, really.
Exactly. I mean, I'm like
freedom of speech.
It is. I mean, I'm like you. Metal's metal. But here's the thing. I give good criticism when it's crap. I mean, constructive criticism, I should say. I mean, I'm a massive Kiss fan, but I give them so much hell when they do something completely off there. I mean, how many times have they done crap that made me want to vomit, but I'm still a massive fan. It's the same as Iron Maiden. I'm a massive fan of that, but there's some little in betweens where it be a lineup change in their career or whatnot that I wasn't too fond of. But that's what it is. I mean, I'm a massive Metallica fan, but I give them so much crap when Lars keep complaining and whining like a girl. I mean, that's just me. But I'm like you. Metal is metal. It doesn't matter if it's thrash. It doesn't matter if it's glam. It doesn't matter if it's power, speed, whatever. As long as it's got a good, hard riff behind it, I'm all for it. And I think we've got to start taking the cotton wool out of our ears and put it in our mouth. But sometimes now with the internet, you want to put gloves on your hands so you can't type. But everyone's got freedom of speech.
Yeah, that's right.
But going back to the band itself, how did you you matured a lot? You guys had a bit of lineup changes, but how did the band, as on a personal level for you, James, when you have those type of lineup changes, how did you keep the construction keep going rather than dwelling on what just recently happened, whether it be a family issue or personal issue or finance issue? How do you keep the spirit up there and keep it momentum going when there's a lineup change coming to the band?
When you get lineup changes and stuff like that, you just got to keep the ball rolling. Really, even if it's, if you got a lineup change and you haven't found a member or anything like that, you just got to keep the ball rolling with other things. Keep on. Well, I guess the perk of having the internet is, social media updates. Keep letting the fans know that you're out there and that kind of interact with them. Just keep yourself known. Even like we've been fortunate with the lineup changes, apart from the very first one we had when we did the EP. Kind of other lineup changes we've have been more. They let us know that they're not feeling it anymore and stuff, and they've been happy to stick with us until we've found. So we've had a smooth transition with the lineup change, which has helped because we've been able to still play gigs and still keep the ball rolling and have someone much just completely swap over and keep the ball going. And that's the thing. You just got to. It's a pain in the ass. I'll give it that. It's trying to find someone that you gel with, not just musically, but on a personal level as well. Because you could play you could be the best guitarist in the world, but if you're an absolute dick, then it's there's no real point being in the band. And it is disheartening sometimes when you're helpless because you can't. There might be an awesome festival on, you can't submit your band for it because you haven't got a bass player or something like that. But you really just got to keep the ball rolling. Even right now when we're we've got the Sevendust gig lined up now, and we're not playing any more other gigs prior to that, as we're continuing finishing off the pre-production for the second album. You just got to keep the updates. We've got a new run of merch that we've just released for pre-order. Just got to keep updates. So you just got to keep everyone in the loop that you're still out there and still rolling on. And And when you get the responses back from fans saying, and you see it with people placing pre-orders for shirts or, commenting stuff on Facebook saying, oh, the new stuff sounds great, can't wait to hear it. It just motivates you just to everyone. The morale is stays high, and that just keeps the ship sailing, really.
Yeah. I mean, this is what I love about what I do for Blokes Work Metal. Some of these fans that listen to the show probably have never heard of the bands that I speak to. And most of them come from Australia, and yes, I do speak to international, and I'm talking big international guests on our show, like Dave Elliston. I spoke to him last year, and just to name a few. I have spoken to Rob Dukes the day after he got fired from Exodus last year, and that went like wildfire, and that is still being spoken as of today, as a matter of fact. But I'm looking at your background, and I have been doing my research way before this interview got even put out there to me. You come from a thrash background. You got many icons, or many of your icons are from the thrash era because you're a guitarist. You idolise Slayer, Metallica, while Sheldon, he's got a dedication to Dream Theater. How did you two collaborate together when you're going to do an EP or a full-length album? There are two different spectrums of music here that you idolise, but how do you come to a compromise in between that you just lay it all out?
Oh, well, basically, you do it for the song, really. You don't do it to please each other. He goes, like, I'm a massive thrash fan, and anyone that you speak to that knows me, I'm looking at my signed Show No Mercy Slayer fucking vinyl on my wall here at the moment, and I just love it. But when I started Tempest Rising, I didn't want it to be strictly a thrash band as much as I wanted to play thrash through and through. I wanted input on other genres, and I guess that's what has made us unique. And I guess that's why I can't really pin a genre on the band because just everyone's influences are so much different. Thrash, as you mentioned, our ex-guitarist Sheldon, he was a massive progressive and Dream Theater fan. Vince, he loves his new metal stuff. Just everything. We write for the song, and that's what makes, I guess, our music unique, and it goes for a good song. And I guess a lot of it, even like I guess early metal called into the early Kill Switch, In Flames, Shadows, a lot of those guys.
Yeah, I mean,
thrash and stuff like that.
Yeah, you just nailed it on the head. I mean, Vim, the lead singer, he's on a different spectrum as well. Like, he's into Korn and Disturbed and Lamb of God, like you mentioned, the new metal. But it doesn't matter who your influences are. It can be a recipe for great success. And that's what it is. I mean, you guys work hard. You've been to Japan. You've toured around Australia. You've done 2 official releases under your belt in 12 months. That is sometimes unheard of now compared to what they used to do in the 70s when they used to bring one out every 3-4 months. But in 12 months, that rarely heard of now. But you guys just keep doing it step from step from step. And yes, I need to come back to Perth to see you guys. I mean, what are the plans for you guys for the rest of 2016? Are you coming around Australia or any major plans as such?
Everything's a bit quiet at the moment. We've got a few shows, I guess, in the works at the moment for over east. Originally, we were meant to have the second album, probably in the final stages of now being ready to release, as we want to release another album within the year of the first album, just because of the lineup change, maturity, really stuff we had written. We thought it blew away the old stuff. We really wanted the new Tempest Rising out as quick as possible. But after a few discussions and whatnot, and a few emails gone through to some certain recording people, we have we kind of just put a hold on that for a minute, and we're just in talks with a few people on I guess producing. We really wanted to make this one a big step from the first album. Not to say the first album was bad, it was right at the time, and that's what we were at a band. But now we are really wanting to push the second album to as high as we can to hopefully open up more doors for supports Australia and maybe some tours over east and overseas. With the second album, we'll definitely follow it up with some eastern state shows and hopefully get to a few places around Australia that we've played it before. And straight after that, we'll be lining up something for international again, whether it be America, Europe, Asia, whatever I guess comes across to us when we get there. But the main focus at the moment is to blow this Sevendust show out of the water and hopefully bring us some new fans over to us and I guess make this second album as big as possible, really.
Well, I need to grab this second album. I mean, I need to get all my ears bleeding to you guys. I really do. Because unfortunately, I'll be seeing Sevendust here in Adelaide. I've got to work that night. But if I can get over to Perth, I want to see you guys and really show your support and get the fans, not just in Perth, but also around Australia to get on board. I'll pump out your Facebook page or whatever I have to do on my end to try and get some ears and eyes to you guys and buy some merch as well, because if we can support live music in Australia, these guys can probably, not just the band, but other bands around Australia can get a little bit of an uprising happening in their own sense of way. There's no competition or making money. Money's good. I do want to admit that. Making money is good, but if you're just in it for the money, forget about it. But if you're there to support it, you got to bear a couple of bucks around, buy some merch off these guys, especially at the Sevendust show, and hopefully you guys, James, you can go off to new horizons. It could be the next chapter that you guys want to unfold, like the next leaf to turn over.
Yeah, that's what we're hoping, and yeah, with the Sevendust, we really want to make sure this is the best gig we've ever played to date, and hopefully that opens doors to bigger and better things.
Yeah, I mean, I want to get this album. I mean, I'm saying it out there. I want to listen to it. I haven't actually got it yet, but I want it. But guys, if you're over in Perth or you are planning to go to Perth, get your Sevendust ticket now through metropolistouring.com and check these guys out. These guys could be going places. Who knows? They've just gone to Japan. Let's see if we can get them on another spectrum and maybe take the world by storm, like Psychroptic and King Parrot and many other bands, especially Truth Corroded, who's from Adelaide as well. They've just taken the world by storm, and all hats to all these people that want to make a name for themselves. But also I want to say thank you to the promoters by taking a punt on the band as well, Tempest Rising. You've done an awesome job. And not just Tempest Rising, but all the bands that are playing for Sevendust. I want to say thank you to the promoters for that, because without you guys, these live local talent probably wouldn't be able to get a name out there. Well, James, if there's one last thing you'd like to say to the fans, what would you like to say to them?
Check us out on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, any social medias, and just give it a listen. You never know, you might like it.
I know I will. even though I listen to the EP and that, but I want this second album, and I don't know how I'm going to get it. I might have to purchase online, but I want to grab it and come over to Perth and see you guys. My family lives in Perth. I moved away from Perth back in 2000. I only come back there to see the live scene again.
Yeah, definitely.
I do want to go back to 78 Records too. There's a lot of stories that I love to share with people in Perth up there. There's a lot of stories. And man, it's unfortunate all the time we've got for, man, say thank you to you and the band, and also to the people behind the scenes that lined this interview up, because this was just out of the moment that came to me, and will I do it? And I put my hand up. So thank you to you guys and to the person who sent the email. So thank you. So James, yeah, we look forward to hearing some more stories as it unfolds at the Sevendust Sevendust gig, and we look forward to speaking to you sometime in the near future.
I'm sure there'll be many more conversations to have.
No worries, man. Take care.
Awesome. Thanks, Amy. Cheers.
Cheers.